Hi everyone, I hope you have a lovely day. My name is Iris Blue and I help people get fired up to their full potential. Welcome to the second episode of the Lockdown Diaries, a series I've made to discuss some mental health issues during this challenging period in our lives. Today I'm going to discuss some tips and tricks on how you can survive the lockdown. And now we're all quite bored, and some people are a little bit more than bored and have been feeling depressed. I've been one of them. If you want to see my story about my fallback in my depression, how I dealt with it, then check out the last video, which is the Lockdown Diaries 1. Today I'm going to discuss some tips and tricks with you in how you can survive the lockdown. So let's get right into the tips, starting with tip number 1. And that is to block out as much negativity as you can. Of course, it's important to follow the news and know what's going on in the world, but there are two ways of looking at things, especially in a crisis like this. There is the positive way and there's the negative way. And the positive way, also called the naive way, but which is really a whole nother thing that you can't even name in one sentence because it's a different subject at all. So the positive way is to stay positive, look at the positive things of the crisis right now, for example, how amazing the healthcare is doing, and to be hopeful for the future. Like I said in my last video, I am not sure if I can get married this year, but I remain hopeful that I am. That is a positive way of looking at things. Of course, you also have the negative way of looking at things, and I know this is a way to look at things that it's very popular in the Netherlands, but it is suspect the worst, and if it's better than the worst, well, then you're lucky. And I understand this perspective, I really do, but in my opinion, being positive and looking at things in the positive light means that for the longest period in time, you're actually content, you're happy, and you're in a positive state of mind. And when things turn out to be worse than you thought, or your hope is turned down, then you can deal with it. And then but in that time in between, you have created this confidence that actually helps you to deal with it. In a negative state of mind, you are miserable almost the whole time. You don't enjoy things as much, and with my experience in life, and I've had quite some experience when it comes to unfortunate or unlucky situations, I can say with my whole heart and with my whole brain that staying positive and being happy is way more important, and when you're disappointed, you will be able to deal with it. And it's way more important than always being numb or angry or just sad. I encourage you to stay positive and to block out the negative as much as you can. So don't watch too much news. Seek out sources that are reliable, that are not really painting everything in a negative light. Don't seek contact with people that look more negatively towards things. That is really my first big advice to surviving this lockdown. So my second tip is to do things you actually always wanted to do but never had the time for. So for example, that can be learning a language, learning a skill, reading a book, learning how to cook, just something you always want to do that you didn't have the time for prior, and now you actually do have that time. And it's a really rare opportunity in that case to actually enjoy that time and actually learn that new skill. So I am taking this time to do a lot more DIY projects than I usually get the time to do, and it's really a lot of fun. My third tip is to spend enough time with your family and loved ones. I know that some of you are alone at home right now, and that is really hard. Some of you are at home with your family. In that case, this is such a rare period of time. you are at home so much right now, and I know it can be challenging, especially when you have young kids that don't go to school right now and you still have to work. But also, you have so much more time you can spend with them that you normally do. So really enjoy this time and cherish those moments. If you're at home alone, then I can understand that these times are really tough. But seek out creative ways to actually get in contact with family. For example, planning a wine date with a good friend via Skype, or what you can do in the Netherlands is you can send somebody a high tea or a dinner or a meal, and you can have that meal yourself as well, and then share your experience via Skype as well. So those are really fun ideas to still have contact with your family, even though it's a little bit harder right now. Do look those people up, do stay in touch, because staying in touch with people when you're at home alone so much is really important right now. My fifth tip is to plan in your self-care time. In these times, we either tend to work a lot and don't have any time next to work because things are quite hectic right now, or we tend to not be motivated enough to actually work a lot and do nothing a large part of the day. That's more what I'm leaning towards. And I can understand it because motivation is very hard to come by in these times. But even if you feel like you've done nothing all day, plan in time consciously to relax, because we tend to forget that time. We tend to either or plan in a lot of work or feel guilty for taking time off because we didn't do enough. But still, in those times when you just are not motivated and on the couch all day, you're not relaxing at all. So plan in time to actually take care of yourself. Take a bath, make a DIY spa evening, like me, do some DIY projects, or just have a fun movie night. Do all these really relaxing things for yourself. Like for some people it can be dancing or singing. Just do something that really relaxes you at least once a week, because we do need that time to relax and to wind down even more right now. And my fifth tip is to actually have a schedule. I know, because a lot of people aren't going to work now, or they don't have work right now. We tend to not have a schedule anymore because you're home a lot. We tend to not have a schedule anymore. We don't wake up at the same time. We don't go to bed at the same time. We don't do a morning routine and evening routine. I think if you don't do these things, days kind of blur together, and things kind of become inconsistent, and you kind of get demotivated even more. So make sure you wake up at the same time, do your morning routine, have a nice, relaxing, fun morning routine for yourself. Like, I am not a morning person at all, but because I actually really love my morning routine, I like to wake up in the mornings. So for me, one of the key factors in this is because I have my mind minutes in the morning, and my mind minutes are about 30 minutes, sometimes more, where I do stuff to make my mindset, to get myself in the right mindset. And right now that I especially sometimes need an hour, because getting into the right mindset is a little bit more challenging. But I do things like meditate or journal, or just setting my goals, do my planning. I have this great app, it's called the 5-minute journal, and I do this every morning, every evening. Also in the evenings I have a very, very nice routine with my soon-to-be husband, and it's just winding down in bed, having just talking together or watching a stupid episode of Family Guy. And doing these routines actually really help you. Also, like, I always advise people to have mind minutes every day, or something that resembles that. Having those moments for yourself every day to get in the right mindset is really important. And I also think exercise, especially when you're at home so much, is really important, because when you don't move a lot, you tend to get a lot more down too. So those were my 5 tips in how to survive this lockdown. Let's all hope and stay positive that this won't take that much longer, because I think we're all looking forward to having a drink somewhere, going out for dinner, or whatever you want to do, just going out of the house. I think we're all looking forward to better times. So let's stay hopeful together. Let's stay positive together. If you want to follow me on Instagram, please do so. I try to help people stay positive and motivated as well on there. I also have a special Corona consult right now for only 25 euros. I talk with you for an hour to see what I can do to help you get through this time and make the best out of a bad situation. If you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time, and in the meantime, don't forget that you have more potential than you realize. I can't stay.